We go, folks. Here we are. We're going to do our first appraisal, how I would appraise a car. And lucky enough, we have Zach's 2017 Volvo S90. Sorry, Cliff, it's not the XC90 you keep referring to, but it is an S90. So normally when I would come out and appraise a car, I would have an appraisal slip, and the salesperson was nice enough to write down the VIN number. I would ask them to take the VIN number off the car, but usually they were too goddamn lazy, so they would just get the customer to give them the registration, and they would copy it off the registration. So the first thing I would do when I came out to appraise a car is I would walk up to the car, and I would find the VIN on the car, and okay, seagulls, be good now. I would find the VIN on the car, and I would make sure it matched what the salesperson had written on the appraisal slip, because that's important, because we always want to make sure that while we're appraising the car that the VIN is supposed to be. So having done that, I would then start to just walk around the car and visually take in some cues that I might see. Like, one of the things that I notice, and it's rather odd, is that there's some scratches in the leading edge of the chrome piece on the hood and the Volvo insignia. And I was informed by my son that it was because he would back into his garage and not always back in far enough so that the leading edge of his garage door would, well, I don't know, minorly impact the grill of his car. But hey, what the hell. So you come around and you just look at the car. You start eyeballing the car. You look down the sides of the car because you want to see if there's any waviness to the body panels that might indicate that it's been in an accident. And good news for Zach is I don't see any there. And then you feel the edges of all the panels. And the reason you're doing that is you're looking for remnants of paint from if it might have been repainted. So you want to feel all the leading edges to make sure that there's no excess paint. And then you continue to just walk around the car and look at the various aspects. Make sure the glass in the rear view mirror, side view mirror is good. Look at the trim pieces, minor scratches around the door handle, which are fairly common. A little door ding there. Nothing major. I don't think that would keep anybody from buying this car. And if it does, well, then shame on them. Some minor surface scratches on the rear door, and some additional surface scratches on this door. Fingernail barely catches in it, so those could probably be buffed out by a good detailer. Remnants of some bird shit, which is normal. You look at the wheels. Let's start at this wheel here, and you can see that there's some damage to the wheels, where these are low profile tires, low profile wheels. So you're looking at damage on the wheels. So it's typically about $125 per wheel to get that taken care of. Come back to the rear wheel on the driver's side. Well, God bless Zach. He's an equal opportunity rim scuffer. So we're up to $250 in wheel repair. Glass looks good. Rear bumper. A little gouge in the rear bumper. Maybe that's from when he pulled straight in, but he didn't pull in far enough in his garage. I'm catching a little shitty looks from my videographer at the moment. And there's some scratches, minor scratches in the rear bumper. Nothing major, nothing big enough that I would think about sending it to be repainted. But if I did, that you're looking at $250 to $300 to respray a bumper cover. You continue down the passenger side. Once again, we're going to look to see if we see any waviness. feel the leading edges of the panels. And what we're looking for when we do that is we're looking for signs that it might have been painted, overspray. If it has been painted, they would masking tape it, and there'd just be a line of demarcation, and you could feel it because it would be higher in one area than another. Well, bless his heart, 3 out of 4. When we get to the front, we'll see if he could go 4 for 4, and I have a feeling he probably could. Most people do. You know, in the old days, we used to have these little springy things you could attach to the side of the car. They were called curb finders, but people don't believe in that shit anymore. They'd rather just stop using the wheels. Minor surface scratches on the passenger door. Let's just open it so we can check the leading edge. And really, there's no signs of paint work on this car, at least none that I've seen yet. Signs of some damage to the clear coat from bird droppings, which is a common occurrence today. All the tires look good. Let's check this right front wheel and see if he went 4 for 4, folks. Oh my God, we've got a winner in town. 4 scuffed rims. Yep. We'll be sending that to wheel specialist, $125 a wheel. So I can't do the math, but I think we're up to $500 just in wheel repair. Paint looks pretty good. I don't think you have any panels that are going to need to be repainted. I don't see any real damage to the car. Windshield, I don't see any real issues with the windshield, no chips or anything. I do see where some of the leather has cracked on a piece of the dash in the car, but I don't think anybody would be upset with that if they came upon that. And then you go in and you check the interior of the car. And when you check the interior, you check the interior, which is all of the car. Because what you're looking for is you're looking to see if there's any holes or tears or anything like that that are going to need to be repaired. And as you can see, this is really a rather a large back seat area, almost limousine-like. I'm beginning to understand why that drug dealer would have preferred this car. Because there's just all this extra room for all the cocaine he might have been carrying. So the interior looks good on the driver's side. And you get in the car. And you look and you check and you make sure that you don't see any damage. Particularly one of the things you need to check for is the sunroof or the moonroof. I remember one time in a Subaru Forester, they had the cover of the moonroof closed. So I pushed it back to take a look, and I looked up and the whole moonroof was shattered. Their hope was that I would have never done that. I felt really bad to have disappointed them, but that's part of what I'm supposed to do. And then you're supposed to actually get in the car and we'll turn it on and drive the car. And I'm going to see if I can get the videographer to come around and get in the car. I don't hear any odd engine noises or anything. I don't see anything on the dashboard that says it's time for a service, which is one of the things you'd want to look for. You'd want to check the mileage on the car, and because the salesperson is supposed to put the current miles on the appraisal slip, and typically the way that a salesperson does that is he looks at his customer and he goes, so how many miles are on your car? Oh, I don't know, maybe 70,000? 70,000 exactly, right around there. Okay, well, this car has 72,519, so it was close to the 70,000. because we always need to know what the exact miles are and what the VIN is. Now, one of the things that I noticed in the interior of this car is, well, I don't think that's exactly how the Volvo engineers had drawn that up, so that there'd be, I don't know, a 3/4 of an inch gap. So something's blocking this from either coming all the way forward or this from going further, but I don't know if that's enough to get somebody to say, "Oh, I'm not going to buy this car." Um, very lovely interior of the car. Notice also, you wouldn't have caught this, but I didn't adjust the driver's seat. One of the things that I always tried to do when I would appraise cars is I would never, if I could help it, adjust the driver's seat. I would make myself uncomfortable so that the driver, when they got back in their car, wouldn't have to readjust things. Now, I will tell you, there were times that I appraised a Corvette, and the guy was a big guy, and the seat was way back there, and it was a stick. And so I was actually holding on to the steering wheel to pull myself up enough so that I could get to the clutch and do the gears. But I didn't touch his driver's seat. He didn't bang his knees when he got back in that car. Then the next thing we would do is we would take the car for a quick spin. And what we're going to do is we're going to listen for if there's any unusual noises. And if there's really unusual noises that I have no idea what they might be, I would make a quick pit stop to our service department and ask our top mechanic to just spare a couple minutes of his time and go with me so that he could give me some idea as to what he thought it might be. So we're going to put it in, if I can figure out how to do this, put it in gear. Did I put it in gear? How do you tell? Yeah, we're in drive. Is there a parking brake? I'll be a son of a gun. So here we go. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything unusual. I don't hear any thumping coming out of the back. I don't hear anything that would indicate that a ball joint might be bad or anything along those lines. Let's see. Let's accelerate. I'm going to ask the videographer to hold on. I'm about to brake fairly hard because I want to make sure the brakes are working and I don't hear any squealing from the brakes, which I didn't. Because if I did, that would indicate that maybe it needs brakes or it might need new rotors, and well, that's additional money that has to be spent to recondition the car to get it lot ready for sale. So those are the type of things that you're looking for. You're also double checking the windshield from the inside to make sure that there's no chips in it. So everything seems to be in order. Don't hear any noises, unusual noises. Rides the way it's supposed to ride. So I would say based on that, mechanically it appears to be in good condition. Cosmetically, for the most part, there's only a couple really minor issues that I wouldn't necessarily worry about if I was getting the car lot ready for sale. So I wouldn't be deducting a lot of money for reconditioning. I would figure that I had $500 in repair for the alloy wheels, $200 for a detail, minimum of $100 to do the state inspection. So we're up to what, $800, and then we haven't gotten into any of the reconditioning that they might find when they actually do the state inspection, or things that they might discover that the car needs. So just a fairly clean car, you're looking at pretty much $800 before you've passed go. So now, one of the other things that I would do, and I'll do this when we get back, is I would always check that the windows went up and down. I can tell you that there have been times where I have appraised people's cars, and one of the windows went down, but didn't go back up, uh, which is always a bit of an issue when that happens because, well, most people kind of take offense at that, and they say, well, you broke it, so you should fix it. And my response was, well, either you probably knew that it wasn't going to go back up before I checked it, or lucky for you, it just happened when I did it. But had you put it down the next time, it wasn't going back up for you, so that repair's on you, not on us. And maybe I was being bad because I didn't say, hey, are there any issues with any of the window regulators? If I push the window down, will it go back up? So those are things you check for. We're going to put it in park. I think I've done that. Now we're going to test the windows. Driver side seems fine. Passenger side. Hi, it's good to see me. Passenger side works. Let's do passenger rear. So far, they're going down and going back up. I'd say that's a pretty damn good sign. Now, one last thing to check would be the sunroof. We better pray that it goes back, because if it doesn't and it rains tonight, well, Zach will be in. He'll have a wet ass tomorrow when he gets in the car. All in all, I'd say this is a very nice car. It seems to be in good shape, and now you have some idea as to what an appraiser looks at when he looks at the car. Typically, I would also open the hood and check in the engine compartment and make sure there's nothing missing. For today's episode, I don't think we really need to do that, but that's what an appraisal looks like. I hope you found this helpful. If not, I don't know what to tell you.